Hello and welcome back to the second part of our Excel video with you, Mr. Majola. We left off having agreed that in order for us to be able to do instruction D, we'll first need to complete instruction E. And instruction E wants us to calculate the column totals. So now, looking at the spreadsheet, the answer for E should go, this is E, the answer for E should go in column E, column G, H, and I, right? So, the answer should go in here. And now I'm going to be introducing you to the formulas that we're using in computer practice N4, right? So we have these new formulas. So I'll just create a new worksheet, and then the formula known as sum is used to calculate totals. So that is the first formula that I'm introducing you, sum, the formula known as sum, that is used to calculate totals, right? And then we use min, which is minimum, which is used to calculate the lowest value, right? So the formula for min is used to calculate the normal value, the lowest value. Let's just say that there's a student that got 20%, a student that got 60%, and a student that got 80%. So your formula for min should give you 20% as an answer because you want the minimum value, the lowest value, right? So the lowest marks obtained by the students is 20, between the 20, the 40, and the 20, 60, and the 80. So your lowest mark would be 20 according to the formula known as min. And then we have maximum, which is known as max, which is used to calculate the highest value. So between the scores, your max formula should give you 80 as the high score obtained by students. And then you have average, which is used to calculate the average of all values, right? Let me have that in caps and the correct spelling, of course, average. And then you have your count, which is used to calculate quantity, but using figures are being numbers. And then you have your counter or count A, calculates quantity using characters. So your characters are your ABC, your ABCs, right? So sorry about that. So these are the formulas that we have for CP&4, but we'll not use all of them today. But I know that we'll be using sum, min, max, and average today, and we'll see if we have time to include these two. Okay, so these are the formulas that we use in Excel for CP&4, and then for instruction E, they want us to give out a total, or to calculate a total for the columns. So since they want us to calculate a total for the columns, remember we use sum to calculate totals. So I'm going to place my cursor where I want my number to go in, and I'm going to use a function to insert this. You have two options of doing this. You can either type sum, =, sum, and then you drag, and then you close your brackets, and then you press enter. Okay, or you can just use your AutoSum. Here AutoSum, as you drop down, you can see you have 5 of these formulas here, and then you just take the one that you want. Make sure to click on the drop down arrow, and then you want your sum. You click on it, and then you press enter. Right. So you also want the sum for February sales and February commission. You do the same. AutoSum, you press sum, and then you press enter. Now mind you, as you are using AutoSum, there's no need for you to start by typing in the equal sign if you use AutoSum. Alright, if you decide not to use the AutoSum, you decide to use the other method that I showed you previously or initially, then you can start by typing in your equal sign first before your formula, and then you open the brackets and so forth. Right, so we've done E, which is the total. Now you can go back to say percentage of commission, which is the total commission as a percentage of column total, and they want us to use the absolute sale reference. Right, so on this one, as you would calculate your percentage for your test, let's just assume that you got 30 out of 50. So the test was out of 50, but you managed to get 30 for the test. So that would mean you got 30 out of the 50 marks. And in order for you to calculate the percentage for your test, you would take the 30 divided by the 50, right, to give you 60%, right? And then you say 30 divided by 50, and then it will give you a 0.6, and then you'll have to convert that 0.6 to a percent by multiplying by 100%, right? So that is how you calculate your percentage. So the same concept applies to this one. Here what you're trying to do is, as you've paid a total commission of 26,740, we want to know that out of the 26,740, in terms of percentages, how much was John paid in terms of a percentage of the 100? How much was Cyril, Betty and Alfred paid? So we're basically trying to analyze and quantify these as percentages instead of just numbers, right? So if you want to convert the 3.8 as a percentage out of the total, we are definitely going to say equal sign 3,800 divided by the total, right? And then you press enter. And of course, I want this to appear as a percent. So this is 14%. So now, as I attempt to autofill here, it will give me an error message to say it is impossible to divide by 0. Let's check our formula. So as I click on this one, I can see that it took my H6 and divided this by H10, which is correct, right? Let's click on the second one. H7, yes, now it's dividing by H11, right? So as I'm dragging down my formula, it's also moving down like that. H8, yes, but now divided by H12. You see, as I'm dragging down my formula, my cell addresses keep moving down like that, of which that shouldn't be happening. This should have been H6 divided by H10. This is H10, yes, this is correct. However, this should have been H7 divided by H10, not H11. This should have been H8 divided by H10, not 11. This should have been H9 divided by H10, not H13. So how do I tell my computer that I want only the first part of the function or formula to change but not the second part? So do you all agree, or I hope you all agree, because you don't respond to me, but I hope we all agree that H10 is our reference cell, because we are going to be using H10 in each and every row to calculate the answer for Andrews, Devet, Gavin and Dawung. So I hope we all agree that so H10 is our reference cell, right? So if we want to use H10 as our reference cell, meaning that as we drag down the formula, we do not want to H10 to move as it keeps moving from H10, 11, 12 and 13, we are going to have to apply an absolute cell reference on H10, right? So just to show you how we apply absolute cell reference, you place on the cell address that you want to allocate as a reference cell, and then you press F4. So as you press F4, you can see that you have some dollar signs coming in on there, right? And then you press enter. And then as you autofill, there you go, we are now able to autofill. So just to show you, so this is the H4 that I was referring to. So this is F4, sorry, this is F4 that we used to insert the absolute cell reference that I was referring to. So now we've done that, and we can now also calculate the total to give us 100. And then we are now going to F. F wants us to calculate the average commission of January commission, of our average of our January commission, and they want the answer to go under column E as well. So under column E, we are going to place our cursor there, and then they want the January average commission, right? So the formula for that would be average, and then I'm going to highlight, ensuring that I do not include the total. As you saw at first, it highlighted everything, but I do have to direct how I want this to be highlighted, or what I want to be included as I'm highlighting. So I'm going to be excluding the total because I do not want that to be a part of my answer, so be careful with that. And then it will give me 3,260 as an average for January commission. And then for highest commission, what do they want there? There is going to be G. In G, they want the highest commission for February commission. So highest, again, highest, there is going to be our formula known as max, right? So I'm going to drop down the arrow, and then I'm going to say max, and then I want to highlight my February commission, leaving out the total. Remember not to include the total. Enter 4,700. Lowest total commission, so this would be H, and H is just here as well. So this would be minimum, right? Minimum, and then I'm going to highlight my total commission, leaving out the total as well. So this is everything that I've done, right? So to continue with that, I'm now going to, if they say copy the formula to the other cells, that is basically mean that you need to autofill, which you've done already. And then they want us to display the column of percentage of column as a percentage with no decimals. We've already done that because where's my work now? It already shows as a percentage with no decimals. Now they want us to display average commission, highest commission, and lowest total commission as integers. An integer is a number that shows without any decimal places, or a number that is not a fraction, so it's basically a whole number. So average, highest, and lowest total commission, these three here in the bottom would need to be shown as integers as they are. And then here, display all other values as currency with 2 decimals. So all other values would be referring to those that are not mentioned here and not mentioned there. So they had mentioned these 3 and this one as well. So all other values will be referring to these ones because they were not mentioned before. So I'm going to change this to a currency with 2 decimal places. So currency, and then I'm going to look for the rand here. Okay, so there goes the rand. And what else did they mention that I should do in here? I've done that. They now want me to insert some horizontal and vertical lines as indicated in the spreadsheet. I think how we insert some vertical and horizontal lines, I do mention that on the video that I titled The Basics of Excel. However, I'll be inserting them privately without you guys to save time. So let me do it quickly. Okay, and then this is how it would look once I've inserted that. And we now adjust, and then we print all these for 35 marks plus the previous 10, which makes this question out of 45. I hope I was able to cover a lot. Unfortunately, I can only record up to 15 minutes per session, and I did not want to include the third part of the video because it would have been too lengthy. So please do watch the video titled The Basics of Excel. It should cover some aspects that I skipped here. But for now, allow me to take a bow and wish you well with your studies. Thank you and goodbye.